Hi everyone, it's me again, George, and this is another episode of Saturday Uncut. Today I'll be talking about how I found a job in Singapore or why I moved to Singapore. So I've been in Singapore for the past 9 years. I moved here in 2012, it was March, and I wanted to pursue my career in broadcasting. When I was in the Philippines, I used to be a TV producer for one of the top TV channels there, ABS-CBN, and I just remember having gone to Singapore for holiday in 2005. Then I just fell in love with the city. I fell in love with the airport. I fell in love with how clean and efficient everything is here in Singapore. And it was always there. It was always this destination in my mind that I wanted to move to Singapore and pursue a career, largely because a lot of the media companies in the world, the biggest media companies in the world, have their Asia Pacific headquarters in Singapore. So I made it. I just wanted to, and it took a lot of courage because when I left the Philippines, I left my job. I didn't just go on Singapore on a holiday and had something to go back to in the Philippines other than my family and my friends. What I did was I resigned from my job a few months prior. I did all the research about Singapore at the time. Me and my then partner and my friend Carlos, we lived in a hostel in a backpackers inn essentially. We lived in a backpackers inn in Lavender, and we lived basically in like these bunk beds for about 2, 3 months and spent every day just applying for jobs and also not spending much. Like we would only go to McDonald's like on the third week of when we went to Singapore. And I remember at the time, Singapore felt like this massive place. And if you know what Singapore is, if you've been here, it's a small country. It's a city. It's a city. It's a country that's just basically, it's also a city, Singapore. And back then, it just felt magical, if I could put it that way. At the same time, it was eating mixed veg rice, the cheapest thing that you could find at a hawker center or a coffee shop. And yeah, during the time I had a LinkedIn, but it was primarily using JobStreet. My then partner was using like he was walking in. We would really buy like the Straits Times Sunday edition so we could see the classified section. Like who does that these days? I don't know. And I never said this or never posted this anywhere, but I really came to Singapore thinking that I would wash an elevator. I know it's fucking ridiculous. I would move to Singapore. I had a career in the Philippines, and then I would move to Singapore to wash an elevator. I don't know what came through my mind why I would think like that, but just to show you that what the kind of jobs I was willing to take to live here, to live this dream in Singapore. So yeah, what happened was I applied directly to the website of one of the largest media companies in Singapore. It's a Singaporean company, and I had a series of interviews from that. And what I was doing was I just envisioned having the lanyard of this company that I had a Filipino friend who had worked at, I'll just say it was Media Corp. I envisioned having my ID card, employee ID card, and that lanyard, that Media Corp lanyard, this black, it's really thin if you worked at Media Corp. And I don't know, I just kept imagining, I want that, I want that, I want that. And I had interview after interview, and after 3 months, I found a job to work for a kids channel as a producer, and the rest is history from that. How did I find the job? I found the job through direct application. And I think the most important thing that they value here in Singapore, I mean, this is all from 9 years ago, is job experience. I don't think if you're a fresh graduate from any school outside Singapore that you can just move to Singapore, just go to Singapore and get a job instantly. Of course, the competition is pretty stiff to get a job here, especially when you're competing against obviously Singaporeans, because Singaporeans should be prioritized for jobs in Singapore. So of course, and Singaporean education is really fierce. So to bring that element of to bring your game, you need to have job experience before you come here. That's my belief. And I did. I had about 6 years experience at ABS-CBN, which is a top TV channel, a top broadcaster in the Philippines. And I brought that. To the table with my portfolio, and that's how I got the job at Octo. Octo is a kids channel. And yeah, that was my first job in Singapore. It was a direct application on the website. I remember that. It wasn't done by any referral of any sort. and I found a job. Of course, another story which I could share in another future video is the getting a work pass approved. In Singapore, maybe some people might think it's just, foreigners or non-Singaporeans could just walk in and get jobs so quickly. It's not. There are so many things you have to go through. Companies have different quotas. There are different types of work passes, S pass, E pass, or whatever. It's not easy. It's challenging. There's a lot of hoops you have to go through, and not all Singaporeans want to take some of these jobs. I mean, a lot of Filipinos work in certain professions that aren't really popular with people who are from here, understandably. That's a very delicate issue. And I've been here for 9 years, and I'm extremely thankful that I've had job after job after job. There are times that I thought it was gonna, be sent back home, but it isn't. I'm still here, and my current job, I'm good to be here through to March next year, which would be my 10th year. 2022 is my 10th year in Singapore. So yeah, that is how I found my job in Singapore. It was a direct application and to a media website, and I brought relevant experience, and it's about hanging in there as well. I think I posted some of these on my blog, which I could share in the links below, and sorry, in the video description if you want to know more. That's the end of this episode. I'm in the process of upgrading my cameras and my laptop soon, and still staying true to Saturday Uncut style video where it's unedited from start to finish. However, I do want to improve this setup, that it isn't so, how do you say, this is on Zoom. Basically, I'm recording on Zoom because it's easy, and it's easy to get this done every Saturday. But I'm excited to work on those in the next few weeks. This is the 19th, I think this is the 19th week I've been doing this, and that's an achievement itself. I'll see you in the next one, and maybe in next few episodes, you'll start seeing me talk about Christmas and other topics. I actually have this notebook right here of some things I want to talk about in the next few weeks, such as how I came out to my family, how not to give a shit. Where did that come from? Why I love K-pop, routines that I'm doing in 2021, and the sort. All right, that's all for this week. Thank you for watching. All right, bye.